Hi there. So today I want to show off my little medal that I got today at my fun run that I did 5K. I just walked it, but holy shit, walking 5 kilometers is actually a lot harder than it sounds. It was a walk for mental health, and so that's what I want to talk about today. I kind of thought that I needed to have like a specific topic that I was always talking about, and that would be my thing. And as I keep making these videos, that's actually not true. What I believe to be true is that I'm just here to talk about whatever shows up that day and what matters most to me in the moment. So, what matters most to me today is mental health. And I've just been thinking a lot about this as I was on the walk today. You know, 5 kilometers takes over an hour. I just had I was just really reflecting on my life and how I suffered for so many years with like severe, I don't know how many times I was diagnosed with severe depression, severe anxiety. I believe I had PTSD through it all as well. Um, and what continued to happen all these years is me being really fucking frustrated with the systems in place and how they deal with mental health. The fact that a lot of professionals don't even fucking understand. I mean, they understand it, but you can't help somebody through something you've never been through. That's like I heard about one of my friends. His daughter is wanted to be a marriage counselor, and she was just out of high school, and we were both laughing like, what the fuck? But I mean, I guess that shit happens, and I'm not here to judge it, but what I'm here to share is we really need people that have gone through mental health challenges to help people understand how to get through it. And like I said, I've been frustrated through my own experiences, and I was always making videos of like how fucking frustrated I was. And then at some point I was like, well, wait a minute, I'm really not helping anybody if I'm just telling people what's not working. I need to be the change. I need to be the change. You need to be the change. That is what we're here to do. That is why I believe life puts us through challenges, is so we can figure our way out and then share what worked. So what worked for me is getting really good and serious of like, I'm not fucking dealing with this shit anymore. I don't care what I have to do. I didn't care what I had to do. I didn't care what it took. But whatever that was, I was going to fucking do it. And this was after my first cancer journey. After my first cancer journey, holy shit, I mean, that was such a hard time. Like, so I would say since high school, I really struggled with my mental health, and nobody understood what it was, including myself. I just thought that I was fucking crazy. And I heard well, snap out of it. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, just, get over it. Get over it was a big thing. Snap out of it and get over it. Well, when you don't even know what's fucking wrong with you, you can't snap out of it and you can't just get over it. So, anyway, and I'm not even judging the people that told me those things because they didn't understand it. That's why I think it's so beautiful nowadays. You can't go anywhere without hearing about mental health, but the problem is we're hearing about it, but we're not really getting a lot of tools from people as to like what to do about it. So, anyway, that's how long I've struggled with it. Like, holy shit. I was on and off medication. I struggled. I fucking struggled. I was suicidal for years. I was I was just a fucking royal mess. I really truly was. And anyway, right before my first cancer journey, I remember in January, I just fucking fell to the floor. I had this very disturbing phone conversation, and I fell to the floor in the kitchen and I just prayed to die. It was like I had some kind of a nervous breakdown. I don't know what it was. Anyway, went to church. That just felt like my calling at the time. And then I was diagnosed with cancer, which meant I needed fucking 3 rounds of chemo and radiation and surgery, and it was fucking traumatic and awful and horrible. The chemo almost killed me. Um, and then I started to learn things in the church that were very disturbing. So, December 14th, I rang the bell at the cancer clinic because I was finished all of my treatments. That day, I also left the church because there were way too many crazy things that I was hearing that I did not agree with. And then I was on my fucking own. I was on my own. No more doctors, no more nurses, nobody calling me, checking up on me. How are you doing? No more church family, church friends. It was like, holy shit, I was just all by myself. And of course, I was diagnosed with severe depression, severe anxiety. Like I said, I believe I also had PTSD at the time. Probably before that, I had PTSD. Anyway, that's when I was like, holy shit, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not fucking doing this anymore. I believe every time that I got cancer, cancer actually saved my life in some way, shape, or form because it gave me the time to just put my healing as my top priority. So as I was dying physically, or felt like I was dying physically, I was actually healing mentally and emotionally because I was alone. I was by myself. I would I would sit every day in the moment just completely by myself and feel everything that showed up, and I would listen to the thoughts that were going through my mind, and that is what created the healing for me. So at that time, I decided that the only time I ever felt like I wanted to stay alive was when I was in nature. That was the only time I felt any kind of peace, was when I was in nature. So I decided to rent a cabin. And it was funny because it was a tiny little cabin. It was like maybe 500 or 600 square feet. Tiny, tiny. Me and my 2 kids moved into this cabin. 2 days later, my house sold. But every single day I went into nature. Every single day I cried and I would bang fucking sticks on the trees. I felt and I felt and I felt. And I watched the voices. I listened to the voices. I journaled. I questioned the voices. The voices, the thoughts, everything that was showing up. I just kept paying attention to it like it was the most important thing in the world, because it fucking was. And it took about, well, actually, it was about 8 months. It was about 8 months of doing this. And I was supposed to get this payout from a disability because of my mental health issue. And it was about $15,000 by the time it was going to be settled. And the nurse called me, it was in March of 2020, to settle this claim. And I was like, you know what? I don't have depression anymore. I'm not anxious anymore. I've healed myself. She's like, oh, well, that's good news. I guess you don't get a penny then. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. So I turned down the $15,000 that I was supposed to be getting as a disability claim, but I had my fucking life back. And then it was 2020, which meant holy fuck. There was a lot of shit going on, but thank God I had healed myself, because not only did COVID hit and we had to go through that fucking gong show, but then I was diagnosed with a way more severe cancer, way worse surgeries, 16 more fucking rounds of chemo, and a lot of crazy shit. Then my mom died. But my mental health was so good. I got through it. I survived the hardest things. I never felt anxious. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I felt anxious, but it never overtook me. I felt anxious. I felt depressed sometimes, but it was never in control. I didn't feel that caged feeling. I didn't feel like I was in hell. I didn't feel like I was being tortured by my mind anymore. I felt like I could do it. I became my very, very, very best friend. So, I'm going to do another video today later with more healing tools, because this one was a little bit longer. But every day I just want to start talking more and more about what we can do for our own mental health, for our bodies, for our spiritual health. It all works together. It absolutely all works together.